Apple tells suppliers iPhone demand has slowed as holidays near. Is this it's not even a Gurman, even though it's on Bloomberg, it's not even a Gurman. It's a Debbie Wu, it's a Takashi Mochizuki, and it's a Giles Turner that wrote the article.
It's a party.
No Gurman in sight. They're like, we'll show you, Mark.
Yeah.
They work
3
at the
on
same.
1.
They work at the same place. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
standing around. They're sipping their coffee. Like, we're going to show Mark on this one. We're about to drop the Apple story.
Yeah.
Pent-up orders may not be as strong as once expected. Consumers are grappling with inflation and new COVID threats. I don't know. Was that right? See these phones everywhere. Suffering from a global supply crunch, it's now confronting a different problem, slowing demand. The company has told its component suppliers that demand for the iPhone 13 lineup has weakened. People familiar with the matter said. People familiar with the matter said. Signaling that some consumers have decided against trying to get the hard-to-find item. Already, Apple has cut its iPhone 13 production goal for this year by as many as 10 million units, down from a target of 90 million because of a lack of parts. Well, there's this... Yeah, see, that's the tough part, does some of this have to do with just the shortage versus demand? Is it that you shut things down, slow things down strictly because of demand or because you can't get enough units out there? Although, I don't know, maybe I haven't been following it closely enough. I feel like if you want an iPhone 13 of any kind, you can go get it right now, right?
I think so.
Without a delay. So it's interesting. The company is still on track for a record holiday season anyway, with analysts projecting a sales increase of 6%. Maybe to sell more laptops or iPads or whatever they do have. Mm-hmm. Look, this is just one of those reports. People familiar with the matter, we gobble it up. The Bloomberg types, the investor types, they want to know what the future looks like for Apple, big, small, or otherwise, obviously not going anywhere. What do you think as far as the 13 series is concerned? You've been using it for a little while. Is this like a must upgrade thing? Has your life altered for the better? You were using a Galaxy S20.
So I was talking to Kirk like a couple weeks ago, and he, like, the main reason why I switched was the 120 hertz fast refresh.
120 hertz.
Sure. Coming from like even the S20, they had fast refresh rate.
Yeah.
But when I was talking to Kirk, he said that it doesn't really matter for him. He switched from the mini to the iPhone 13 Pro.
Yeah.
The white one. And he said it like after a while, like the refresh rate didn't really matter. I would probably stick with the 12.
Okay, so hang on a second. You're saying that the refresh rate doesn't matter as well, or you're saying Kirk said that?
I don't think so either.
You don't think so either?
I trust his opinion.
Well, I'm just.
I think overall, I thought it would be a big deal, but it apparently is not. And I'll give it a shot. I'll switch back to like a 12 or something.
Right. See. No, but there's also been talk that the implementation that Apple used, as opposed to locking it at a high refresh, but instead having this dynamic approach to it, which other manufacturers are doing as well, for preserving battery life. Yes. That maybe the effect is not as substantial. And if you even, and this is not a test that I've done, but if you to hold it next to a device that has a locked refresh of 120, that you might notice the difference. At least some people were making those claims. So comparing the new iPhone to the 60 hertz iPhone may be less of a gap than to some other 120 hertz phone, which has this really fluid or snappy thing going on, which is locked. For example, in my experience, like I was playing with the new iPad mini recently, and I immediately was like, oh, this is 60 hertz. Like immediately, because I do have other iPad Pros that are 120, and obviously I have phones that are such. So I don't know. This is a very personal thing. This thing, if you notice that and how much it bothers you, or how much you appreciate a faster refresh,
and how much you would, get used to it as well. Like if you were to switch back.
Well, you'll get used to anything.
Yeah.
Right. Like we all used 60 hertz phones forever, and we lived our lives.
I guess in my opinion, I thought it was a really big deal.
Right.
Like the high refresh rate. But, based on Kirk's example, it doesn't seem like a big deal for him.
Right. But you would have to go now and use, because it's been probably, 4 years since you've used anything other than 120 hertz capable display. So see, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that you'd have to make that transition, and definitely in the side by side, it is noticeable.
Yeah.
But it's a personal preference thing.
I move back and I just throw up.
You could just as easily say like some other development in the camera department doesn't matter to you, or you could go and say improved battery life is not really that big of a deal. Like you could pick and choose whichever component is less or more important to you, which is going to be very unique to the individual. I mean, Apple would have you believe that everything is a big deal all the time. When they do a presentation and say this is the biggest deal ever. I think one thing a lot of people were talking about was battery life, actually.
Battery life.
Well, because battery life is less of a personal preference. Everybody wants more of it. There's very few people like, that's too much battery life. I don't need it.
Yeah.
Right?
Shrink it down.
They'll take it.
Yeah.